don't think I'd be able to notice that, right? No, I don't think it's that obvious. We got it covered up. Granted, it's not 100% perfect, but it is flush enough against the glass that is still somewhat there. To keep the dust out, keep any dirt and crud and namely Tweety Bird out of there. We went and actually re-upped the rat poison that's in the combine. We did check everything that was in there before. We put mothballs in the cab, but then we went through again and made sure all the rat poison that we put in a couple months ago is still there. Was chewed on, but it's kind of expected on those harvesters. I spent 4 hours with the air hose cleaning the combine off, and actually approximately 45 minutes with the pressure washer. It's amazing how good of a job, well, not much point in showing you, you can't see it. It's amazing how good of a job just using the air hose to clean the combine or equipment off in general will do compared to just hitting it with the water or the pressure washer right off the bat. I've done it years in the past where I've done exactly that, where I just started with the pressure washer and I could spend a whole day on the combine and it would still not look as good as it does right now. The big concern over the winter with that, other than any potential preventative maintenance tasks we do, the big thing I worry about is the mice getting into it and tearing into something that would make our lives a living nightmare. But that is kind of what you expect when you put it in a machine shed. We don't really have much for mice and rats around here. I don't know how often you guys have seen Sebastian. He's the ruling farm cat around here. He does a pretty good job keeping the population for the four-legged rodents down. It'd be nice if he could fly. He could take care of the ones that are buzzing around in the machine shed. But he's caught a bird or two. I guess I can't really complain. But farm cats, don't ever discredit the value of farm cats on a farm. Myself, I'm not a dog or a cat person. I like both. I like the dogs. I do like cats too. I don't sway towards either one. They both have their own kind of personalities. The dogs are good companions for riding the equipment. The cats are good for making sure you keep working, because Sebastian will come up and sit on top of you if you sit too long or take too long of a break while working on something. So he's good at keeping everybody in line, is what I should say. Seems how we're farmers, and talking about the weather is just what we do. It's cold out. The wind is blowing really, well, it's just starting to calm down a little bit. We were feeding steers earlier. The wind was really whipping. The snow was blowing really, really bad. It was getting into our faces, but they are saying in the next couple days that we're going to get up to 6 inches of snow. I could do without. This is more than enough snow for me, but my in-laws like to snowmobile, and I know that they would appreciate getting enough snow to at least do that. Because otherwise, that's where Brittany and her dad went. They went up to northern Wisconsin 2 weeks ago now, and they went snowmobiling for a couple days. And yeah, the snow they got up there is easily knee-deep on me. But we don't have any snow plowing videos yet. We could have made a little bit of an attempt at pushing some snow, but to be quite honest with you guys, if we would have pushed snow, everybody would have, I think the majority of our viewers would have said, why are you wasting your time? So we opted out on it. I haven't had to put the blade on the 76 yet to push any snow. The Bobcat is about the most I would have done, and that was actually would have been just to push the snow off the driveway that the snow plows through onto our driveway. But yeah, it's January. It's terrible. Even March. The nice thing about March, to me, even if it looks like this outside in March, you're on the downward slide for this weather, and things are going to start looking up. I mean, for us, we were doing, well, a couple years ago, we were doing field work the second week of April. Now last year we were planting, I believe it was the end of the third week to the first part of the last week in April. We started planting corn. We never used to do that. We always waited at least until May 1st to avoid the frost and any late freezes. They're really not hyping frost up as much as they used to as far as freezing your plants off. And it was a lot more of a concern as I was growing up. But they're claiming with these newer hybrids that they can actually stand a certain amount of cold weather as long as the growing point is, well, still underneath the ground. And it all depends on how bad the plant gets burnt if it does get frosted. Well, granted, I'm in the camp of no frost at all, but there are advantages to planting earlier in the year as opposed to waiting till mid-May, because I have a date in my head. I always figured the 15th of May to be done with planting corn, at least if we're going to be done planting anything, to be done with corn by the 15th of May, because I don't like listening to too much of the college educated reporters when it comes to these crops. But they always said, and my grandpa did say too, that May 15th is about the latest you'd like to put corn in the ground, and after that you do start to see a little bit of a yield hit from later in the year, later maturities. We did plant all the way up to 112-day maturity corn last year. For the most part, from some of the seed quotes we've gotten to this point, we're looking at 110 at the most. Last year, it really wasn't a big of an issue as far as dry down. A lot of our corn was, well, I think the wettest was 22%, and that's some of our wettest corn. Our longest day corn was right down to 20%, which is well within reason for drying it down. Granted, if you're going to pay to dry your corn down, you want it as dry as you can coming out of the field. But then again, anything below, was it 22 to 23% moisture, they start worrying about shelling of the ear in the corn head. Now, if you have those brushes like we have in our corn head, they dampen the blow and they reduce the amount of shelling you get when that cob hits the head. It doesn't take very many kernels per square foot to lose a bushel across a whole field. I believe it's 2 kernels per square foot it's a bushel or 2 an acre. And in times that we're in right now, you gotta catch all the dollar signs that you can. Well, I think somebody wants me to play. Isn't that right? Or no. Maybe she just wants to, no, she just wants attention. So, alright guys, my hands are getting cold. Take care, take it easy, keep in touch, stay warm. Hopefully we don't have too many more blizzard conditions this winter, but let's be realistic, it's the middle of January. We got a lot of winter to go yet before we get to spring. See ya.